How close was Frank Lampard to actually getting the job? So many reports about him leading up to the appointment of Dean Smith. And on that name, what does he actually bring? I know that he's fought off relegation, of course, like you mentioned with Aston Villa. So there's that level of experience that he's shown already.
Yeah, so Frank was close because he was one of only two people Norwich really spoke to about it. So out of a worldwide population, that's pretty close. That said, Norwich never offered him the job. He pulled out before Norwich had come to a decision on who they were going to offer it to. Only Frank really knows if he pulled out because he thought he wasn't going to get it, or he thought it wasn't right for him. I do see the Norwich job as a risk at the moment, and I always felt that for Frank Lampard it would be a really big risk, because at this point in his career, his next appointment is going to be hugely important as to where his career then goes from there, and he kind of has to make it a success. And I think Norwich came with a huge degree of risk. To end up with a relegation at that point on Frank's CV, I think would have been an issue. So I think the actual reasoning, it's probably one for Frank and Frank alone to answer. So then you get to Dean Smith, who I think, again, Norwich City supporters were probably slightly underwhelmed maybe when the first name came up. I've seen that word mentioned a lot, and I've said it myself as well. But I think the more you look at what Dean did at Aston Villa, but also maybe how it ended, the fact that, you know, he had probably similar issues to Daniel Farke in a way. The expectations rose. They lost their talismanic player, but had, you know, some really good talent to build in, but that wasn't always available. And with that expectation rising and then the results not delivering, you can quite easily lose your way. And I think as soon as it starts to become clear that maybe the manager hasn't got the total faith of those above him, I think players sometimes sense that as well. So if you take away how it kind of unraveled, a lot of Dean Smith's work at Aston Villa is very good. And the one thing Norwich don't really have, except for those who were around 2 years ago, is good Premier League experience. No one really knows what good in the Premier League looks like, really. So at least Dean Smith has kept a team in the Premier League. He can stand in front of those players and say, hey guys, I know what it takes. I know what a Premier League team that can stay up looks like. I know what we need to do it. And I think maybe some of Norwich's issues this year have been just that lack of belief. They've not really known what it would take. And I think they want to be told what that could be. So I think that's a key element. It does mean Dean Smith will have to be very good very quickly, I think, because Norwich's situation is very difficult. And they'll need to pick up some good results quickly in games that they can do that in, because they probably do have to pick and choose. So, but ultimately, it does feel like an appointment that does fit. It probably is one that will still work if Norwich are relegated. I don't think anyone really wants to say that, but I think it'd be churlish to ignore that potential issue. But I think Norwich are really keen to look at this as what happens this season, because they don't want to be relegated. They want to prove a point this year.